Spencer Wyndham. Today I'll be presenting my capstone presentation on bringing consistency to Georgia Medicaid reimbursement. A little over a year ago when I began this leadership class, I had every intention on presenting on my capstone project on something meaningful, educational, and also passionate. The only problem is when it comes to Medicaid reimbursement, it doesn't always rank at the top of everyone's list of a passionate subject. So in hopes to keep your attention for the next 5 minutes that I have, I'd like to compare Georgia Medicaid reimbursement to another passion of mine, and maybe some of yours, which is UGA football. I realized a few months back when looking at UGA's past football seasons that there's some pretty significant similarities between this football program and our recent Medicaid reimbursement years. Enough so that I want to take a closer look at both of these organizations and take a closer look at the stats. The first similarity I notice is both our organizations begin most years with such high hopes. As a nursing home provider, it's a new cost report or additional funding to offset employee increases or mandatory health insurance requirements. As the UGA program, it's an SEC championship or national championship. And why shouldn't we be enthusiastic about our organizations? Because UGA consistently ranks in the top recruiting class year after year. And like Georgia football, our team of skilled care providers are also of the highest caliber, achieving national satisfaction ratings, exceeding national satisfaction ratings. Another similarity we both share is our dedicated fans. These fans are with us through the good times and the bad, and often their simple words of encouragement can mean the difference between getting through a difficult day. We also both have great organizations. GHCA staff members work tirelessly together coordinating education sessions, political outreach, and putting providers in place to communicate our industry's needs in order to maintain the quality of care that's being provided. But for some reason, more often than not, Georgia Medicaid reimbursement, just like Georgia football, often falls short of our expectations, leaving us in another year with an outdated cost report and playing in a bowl game that no one even cares to watch. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I believe our organization is too talented not to be playing with the big dogs. I refuse to believe that Alabama, Mississippi, and every surrounding state, for that matter, is more knowledgeable, talented, funded, and supported in the long-term care industry than we are. We have every finger to make a fist, but we're scared to use it to fight for what our residents and staff members truly deserve. So what's wrong with us? Why is Georgia in last place when it comes to receiving Medicaid reimbursement? And I honestly believe the answer is quite simple. Inconsistency, unpredictability, and believe it or not, a little bit of luck. You see, when we inconsistently skip cost report years, it creates a guessing game, picking and choosing winners and losers. If your costs were high in 2012, you're rewarded for your high spending. But if you're an efficient facility and your costs were lower than normal, you receive less fundings than others. These past years of inconsistency have caused conflict within our association, conflict between providers, political gaming, while also causing a significant variance between the amounts of reimbursement providers receive. Some facilities are receiving a Medicaid rate of less than $115 per resident day, while others are receiving a rate of more than $230 per resident day. Now that's a pretty extreme variance when considering that one facility is being reimbursed more than double the rate of another when they're caring for the same resident with the same diagnosis. So how do we fix this problem? How do we fix this inconsistency? The most obvious solution would be to move to the newest cost report each and every year. And this is absolutely possible. You see, if a negative growth allowance was utilized for the year's additional funding was not available, the result would be consistency and predictability to our Medicaid reimbursement system. This would also eliminate any conflict between providers on which cost report's more attractive and eliminate the political gaming. Today, we could be utilizing the 2013 cost report with a negative growth allowance of 3.25%. We could also today be utilizing the 2014 cost report with a negative growth allowance of 3.45%. And please keep in mind, just because it's called a negative growth allowance doesn't mean we're receiving less funding. It simply distributes the same amount of funds more evenly amongst providers, closing the gap on big winners and big losers. Other reimbursement options would be to increase our quality and efficiency add-ons, or lowering the 90 percentile incentive to an 80 percentile incentive. Again, rewarding efficient providers. We've got to get creative when it comes to reimbursement, and aggressive, and stop doing the same thing over and over again expecting different results, because that's the definition of insanity and it's not working for us. The governor's 2016 budget allocated no additional funding for our industry, $0, setting us up for another year on the 2012 cost report. Now, I believe our residents and staff deserve better than that. Now, I fully support this year's agenda in asking for the most recent cost report. God knows we desperately need a foundation for the future. But our industry is evolving, and our means of receiving reimbursement must evolve along with it. 2016 is a new year, both for our industry and the Bulldog Nation. But it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy one. But with the right leadership and the right coaching, anything's possible. Proverbs 11:14 says this, where there's no guidance, the people will fall. But in abundance of counselors, there's victory. I want to encourage those of you who want to get more involved in the association and in our industry to take a look at the leadership program. It was a push I needed to get off the sidelines and get more involved in the areas I'm passionate about. And I hope you'll do the same. Thank you.